So, welcome to my third lecture series. Last class I have discussed about basic concept of difference between the thermal reaction and photochemical reaction. Then how the photophysical process can be distinguished by the photochemical process. Later on I have also discussed the basic concept of spectroscopy, electromagnetic radiation, and different kind of absorption and emission process. So today I'll discuss different kind of laws of photochemistry. So photochemistry is basically involves different kinds of laws. Basically what happens in the photochemistry? Photochemistry is the underlying mechanism for all of photobiology. When a molecule absorbs a photon of light, its electronic structure changes and it reacts differently with other molecules. The energy that is absorbed from light can result in photochemical changes in the absorbing molecule or in an adjacent molecule, for example, in photosensitization reaction. The energy can also be given off as heat or as lower energy of light, that is fluorescence or phosphorescence. In order to return the molecule to its ground state, each type of molecule has a different preference for which of these different mechanisms it uses to get rid of absorbed photon energy. For example, some prefer fluorescence over chemistry. Practically what happens when in the excited state the molecule returns to your ground state? So if there is the same kind of spin, that means suppose in the excited singlet state, for example, first excited single state is designated as S1, whereas in the ground state it is designated as S0. So total spin multiplicity remains almost same. So when from your S1 to S0 the molecule, or more precisely the electron, can return to the ground state, during this transition some kind of photon energy is released. So when some kind of photon energy is released is in the form of light, then we called it as the radiative transition. Or during this kind of transition, if the corresponding photon energy releases in form of the heat, then we called it as the non-radiative kind of transition. And basically what happens, I will discuss more elaborately when we are going in the Jablonski diagram. What happens in fluorescence process, the same spin multiplicity takes place, whereas in the phosphorescence process the different kind of spin multiplicity takes place, because in the phosphorescence process the corresponding molecule or electron releases from triplet state, first excited triplet state, to the ground state, that means T1 to S0 state. Okay, so the main fundamental difference is in the fluorescence process the corresponding same spin multiplicity occurs, whereas in your phosphorescence process different kind of spin multiplicity that takes place. Okay, so in your syllabus the different kind of photochemical laws are there, that includes Beer-Lambert's law, Rothers-Draper law, and the third one is your Stark-Einstein laws of photochemical equivalence. So I will discuss one by one different kind of laws more elaborately. Let's start with the corresponding Beer-Lambert's law. So basically Beer-Lambert's law are validated only in the absorption phenomenon. That is why all absorption spectrophotometer instrument work according to your Beer-Lambert's law. So what is Beer law and what is Lambert law? Basically two scientists, Lambert and Beer, they independently propose different definition. Okay, so according to them, the combined law is called your Beer-Lambert's law. Okay, so what happens here in the Lambert's law? Lambert's law tells you that when a monochromatic light is passed through a solution of a sample, then the decrease in the intensity of light with path length is proportional to intensity of the incident light. What does it mean? Monochromatic means the corresponding single specific wavelength of light. Okay. Then you see here that the corresponding monochromatic light, what happens when it passes through your sample, you just see the diagram. Then what happens when the corresponding intensity of light goes there in the sample, the corresponding molecules are there, and that molecules can absorb the intensity of the photon energy, or alternatively intensity of the incident radiation. Then what happens if the corresponding path length is here, then in the next part the corresponding intensity decreases. That is why the decrease in the intensity, so if we basically divided the total path length x into infinitesimal amount, then it basically consists of dx part. So when the corresponding molecules from this dx part to this dx part goes, obviously the intensity of the latter dx part is basically decreases. So that is why the Lambert's law tells you that decrease in your intensity of light with path length is proportional to the intensity of your incident light. Beers later on proposed that when a monochromatic light is passed through a solution of a sample, the decrease in the intensity of light with path length is proportional to the concentration of the sample and intensity of incident light. We have proposed another kind of new parameter. That parameter is your concentration. Okay, so this combined law is called Beer-Lambert's law. So according to your Beer-Lambert's law, the total absorbance value is equal to epsilon into C into L, where epsilon is your absorption coefficient or molar extinction coefficient, C is your concentration of the solution, and corresponding A is your absorbance value, and L is the path length of your solution. Okay, then I'll derive the different Beer-Lambert's law. So here you can see the I naught equal to intensity of incident radiation. And what does it mean by I? I is the intensity of transmitted radiation. As well as I basically the corresponding path length is x. So I basically divide the corresponding path length into infinitesimal amount of small dx part. So this part is dx, this part is another dx, this part is dx, so on. So according to the Lambert's law, you can see the decrease of the intensity. That means I can write minus di by dx. Okay, what is dx? dx is the corresponding small amount of the path length. So according to your Lambert's law, minus di by dx is proportional to I. Why minus? Because when the corresponding light pass from this dx part to another kind of dx part, the intensity of your light basically decrease. Okay, then what happens? According to Beer's law, minus di by dx is proportional to concentration into I, because in Beer's law another kind of parameter is included. That parameter is your concentration. So if I rearrange it, then we got minus di by I is equal to some proportionality constant k into c into dx, where k is the proportionality constant. Okay, the minus sign is introduced because there is reduction in your intensity. Okay, then what happens? So I can rearrange minus di by I is equal to k into c into dx. So if I integrate the equation 1 on both sides between the limits I equal to I naught when x equal to 0. What does it mean? When only the intensity of incident light is passed, and when it does not enter in the sample, that means obviously the path length x becomes equal to 0. And when your intensity of the incident radiation becomes I, that means I is the corresponding transmitted intensity. Then when it is possible? It will be possible when the corresponding x value becomes the total path length. So this is the corresponding limit. So I can write over the integration minus di by I integrated limit I naught to I becomes equal to k into c into integration of 0 to L dx. So on rearrange we get found that ln I naught by I equal to k into c into L. Since we know the ln is 2.303 log of I naught by I, this becomes equal to k into c into L. So log I naught by I becomes k by 2.303 into c into L, or A becomes equal to, because log of I naught by I is called absorbance, so A becomes equal to molar extinction coefficient into concentration into path length of the solution. So this is the proof of the how can you prove the absorbance value is related with the concentration, absorbance value is related with the path length of the solution. This is the fundamental kind of thing. Okay, then there are different kind. You just see here the transmittance of light can be expressed by I divided by I naught, where I is your intensity of the transmitted radiation and I naught is your intensity of the incident radiation. Or this is the relation between absorbance, transmittance, etc. So I can write absorbance value becomes equal to log of I naught by I, or on rearrange I can get minus log I by I naught equal to minus log T or log 1 upon T. Okay, so this is the relation between absorbance and transmittance. So if the corresponding transmittance less than 1 or percentage of transmittance is less than 100%. Okay, for example, if the transmittance is 30%, absorption of light will be 70%. Obviously, because I have already shown you that total I naught is IA plus IT. So if the corresponding transmittance is 30%, then the rest portion will be the absorbance. So absorbance may be calculated by Beer-Lambert's law. And remember you that the absorption, transmittance and absorbance are different terms, because absorbance is the logarithmic property, log of I naught by I, whereas absorption is how much intensity of light is absorbed by the molecule. Okay, so these two terms, absorption and absorbance, are basically different. Then you just see here corresponding the transmittance and absorbance. So I have already told you, when the intensity of the incident radiation pass through the sample, then some part of the transmitted light is radiated. So here the transmitted light is designated as IS. So you can see here the transmittance is IS by I naught. Okay. Then what happens here? We are basically discuss about different kind of condition. So suppose in case of non-absorbing sample, that's the sample which are not able to absorb the intensity of light. So when this condition takes place, that means these are the corresponding transparent solution. All the solution are transparent, all the molecules cannot absorb the intensity of light. Then I becomes equal to I naught. Then transmittance equal to 100%. So this is the theoretical thing. Second thing is that in case 2, when the absorbing sample is basically 100% of your molecule is absorbed by your intensity of the light, then the color of the solution is opaque. Then what happens? The no intensity of the transmitted light comes. That means transmittance becomes equal to 0. Okay, because the corresponding intensity of the transmitted light is equal to 0, and since transmitted equals to transmittance becomes equal to IT, intensity of the transmitted light by I naught, since here the IT value becomes equal to 0, so transmittance becomes 0%. Okay, so these are the two cases Okay, so practically this in the experimental kind of condition, these are not applicable. That means 100% transmittance never possible and 0% transmittance never possible. Okay, this is the theoretical kind of thing. So here we have shown, I have already discussed the Beer-Lambert's law state you the absorbance value becomes equal to log of I naught by I, or absorbance value is equal to molar extinction coefficient, concentration into path length, transmittance equal to, because this kind of equation you have to remember, transmittance equal to intensity of transmitted light I divided by intensity of the incident light. This becomes equal to minus log of t, that becomes equal to log of 1 by t. So I can also write log of 1 by t as log of 100 by percentage of t. That means log of 100 means 2. So 2 log a by b means log a minus log b. So this log 100 equal to 2. So 2 minus log of percentage of t. Okay, so this is the relation. Okay, and the absorbance equal to, we can also write absorbance is equal to 2 minus log of percentage of transmittance. So this kind of equation you have to remember. Okay, this I have already discussed. Absorbance is epsilon CL, absorbance is log of I naught by IT. Third is your transmittance is I by I naught, absorbance is equal to log of 1 upon t. Okay. So please note, intensity of absorbed light is not used in any equation. If it is given, then calculate the intensity of your transmitted light. Okay. And I have also discussed the absorption and absorbance are different kind of thing. And suppose you have to determine what is the absorption or percentage of absorption. Then how can you calculate it? First, you have to calculate t value. T value can be calculated from this kind of equation. T is equal to I by I naught, or A is equal to log of 1 by t. So once you calculate the t value, take the percentage of t, then percentage of absorption equal to 100 minus percentage of t. Very simple kind of thing. So suppose I just discuss one numerical. A solution shows a transmittance of 20% when taken in a cell of 2.5 cm thickness. You have to calculate what is its concentration if the molar absorption coefficient is 12,000 decameter cube divided by mole centimeter. So all the parameters are given. Percentage of t is 20%, that means the t value becomes 0.2. The path length is x 2.5 centimeter. Epsilon value is also given. So use the fundamental equation a into epsilon c into x. So here you can calculate the c value. C is equal to a by epsilon into x. Okay, so the corresponding concentration can be calculated, and the value is 2.33 into 10 to the power minus 5 mole per decameter cube. Then this is the most important thing, the unit of molar absorption coefficient or corresponding molar extinction coefficient, because absorbance is epsilon into c into L or log of I naught by IT. Since absorbance value is unitless, because absorbance is the logarithmic property, so epsilon is equal to absorbance by c into L. So I just write here that different unit of concentration and different unit of path length. Okay, if the corresponding concentration is the molarity and the path length of the solution is centimeter, then epsilon value becomes mole inverse centimeter inverse. If the corresponding concentration is molar and path length is meter, then the epsilon value becomes mole inverse meter inverse. If the corresponding concentration unit is this, representative table is given, where the concentration is given, where the path length is given, and how can you calculate the corresponding unit of molar extinction coefficient. Okay, in different kind of corresponding unit. So the term molar extinction coefficient is a measure of how strongly a chemical species or substance absorb light at a particular wavelength. Okay, so here you just see the epsilon is a constant at a particular wavelength and same molecule at different concentration. So molar extinction coefficient epsilon changes at different wavelength. That is why we can write epsilon is function of lambda, because in the every specific wavelength, since the absorbance value basically changes, so when the absorbance value changes, so obviously absorbance becomes equal to epsilon into C into L. Path length of the solution remain fixed, because in the same cuvette you have do the corresponding practical. So when your concentration is changes, obviously absorbance is also changes, and if different kind of solution is taken, so the corresponding wavelength is also somewhat wavelength is changes. Okay, so that is why the molar extinction coefficient is function of the wavelength of the corresponding molecule. Then this is the most important thing. Absorbance is additive property, where transmittance is multiplicative property. Okay, because if you take the two different kind of solution of different absorbance value, then we can write absorbance in the first solution, first set of solution, absorbance 1 is epsilon into concentration C1 into path length. In the second kind of solution, you can write absorbance 2 becomes equal to epsilon into C concentration of 2 into path length. So absorbance value is becomes equal to A1 plus A2 epsilon into concentration 1 into L plus epsilon into concentration 2 into L. That means A1 plus A2. That is why absorbance is your multiplicative property. So if the same material or molecule is taken of different kind of concentration, and if you add the corresponding two kind of solution mixed together, then its corresponding absorbance value becomes enhances. Whereas in the transmittance, the absorbance A1 we can write minus log of T1, and in the second case absorbance 2 becomes equal to minus log of T2. So absorbance becomes A1 plus A2. That means minus log of T1 minus log of T2, or alternatively we can write minus log of T1 into T2. That is why we basically say that absorbance of any kind of sample is the additive one, whereas transmittance is your multiplicative property. Then you can see that transmittance, this is the plot of absorbance versus concentration. Okay, and this is the linear plot, because A becomes equal to epsilon into C into L. If the corresponding path length and molar extinction coefficient remains same, then absorbance is basically proportional to the concentration. So when you increase the concentration, the corresponding absorbance value enhances. That is why linear kind of graph you have obtained. But in respect of percentage of T, you can write the percentage of T equal to 10 to the power minus A. That means 10 power of minus epsilon into L into C. That is why it basically logarithmic decreases. So this is the plot of percentage of transmittance with respect of concentration, whereas in the right side plot, this shows you the corresponding plot between absorption and concentration. Similarly, this is the first one in the left side. This is the plot of percentage of transmittance with respect to path length L value, because absorbance, if the corresponding concentration remains fixed, molar extinction coefficient remains fixed, then what happens? Absorbance is directly proportional to path length. So that is why in the right side you just obtain the corresponding linear kind of graph. So there are some kind of limitation of Beer-Lambert's law. First is Beer-Lambert's law is not obeyed if the radiation used is not monochromatic. That means if you are not used monochromatic light or single specific wavelength of light, then Beer-Lambert's law is not obeyed. Second thing is that Beer-Lambert's law is applicable only for dilute solution. Okay, for more concentrated solution, it cannot transmit it properly. That is why whenever we basically apply the Beer-Lambert's law makes sure that dilute solution or lower concentration of the solution can be used. The third point is that the temperature of the system should not be allowed to vary a large extent. Okay. Number 4 is the Beer-Lambert's law is not applied to suspended kind of solution, because if there is tiny particle, it is not mixed properly, then your Beer-Lambert's law can be not used, or it is not used in colloidal kind of solution. Number 5 is Beer-Lambert's law if the deviation may occur if the solution contains impurity, and deviation also occurs if the solution undergoes polymerization or dissociation process. So these are some kind of limitation of the Beer-Lambert's law. So first law of photochemistry, that means Beer-Lambert's law, I have discussed here. Thank you for your attention.